Good morning, friends and family. Here with another episode today. Today's episode is going to be about time. I was talking about this a couple days ago, and time is one of the most valuable things in the whole entire world. And I'll explain why. Because it doesn't matter how smart you are, how strong you are, and how rich you are, you can never buy back time that's already passed. Now, I will go into more depth and I will give you a different aspect on this too as well. That doesn't mean that you can't buy your future time back. So in the sense or the definition and the meaning that you won't have to waste your time on the things that don't matter as much anymore. And you could focus more of your time on the things that matter, like your friends, your family, your dreams, your ambitions, your goals, stuff like that. Those are the things that matter. Now, to start off the episode, I guess it makes sense to start with people that are really good at time management and really successful people. It probably would be fair to say they have great time management, and I'll explain why on a very base level first. They probably at least know, hey, I have to go to bed at this time and I have to wake up at such and such time so that this way I could achieve my goals, or I could achieve what I need to achieve today and be successful. They probably have a good idea of when they need to, and they stick to it. And by sticking to it, I mean, just that let alone probably carries a great deal of discipline and probably creates a really solid mental fortitude. And it just really supports and anchors down everything that's going to begin the day. It's a small success. Hey, I went to bed at this time and I woke up at this time. That's a success. That's a win. That's an easy win. I went to bed at this time. I actually fell asleep. I was disciplined enough that's a win. I woke up at this time. I didn't let myself sink in bed. I woke straight up. That's a win. Those are 2 wins before, really your day's really even started. So there's that. And we could probably imagine, as their day goes along and as everything kind of, continues, they probably know how long I should be spending on this task. They probably know, I should be working this hard. I should be doing this. And, this is the type of output and I have to get this done by this time. So this way I could get to the next task, or so I could complete this task if it's a very large task, and so on and so on. We can imagine they're probably really, really good at time management. Now I'm going to bust out a story real quick before I get into my notes. So the other day I was scrolling through, I think it was Instagram or something like that. This pot was on a stove and the water's starting to boil. And this frog happened to get inside the house and jump inside the water because, frogs live in water, frogs are in ponds, and so he hopped in the water. Well, he sits in the water for about a minute or two, and he says, wow, gee, this water's warm. But the warmth kind of comforts him. So he sits by the warmth, and he enjoys the warmth. Well, a couple minutes later, it's starting to get a little warm, and the frog's like, oh man, I should probably jump soon because it's getting a little warm in here and a lot warmer. And the frog's like, oh man, it's time to jump. Well, because the frog is a cold-blooded animal and it got too warm, it made the legs on the frog numb. He can't feel his legs, and his legs don't work because the water is too warm. Now the water is up to his neck. And now, it's bubbling, it's all warm, it's all foamy and stuff like that. And now he can't jump. That's the end of the story. Now, you could easily take the story and say, well, you know what, Noah, the moral of the story is that, oh, well, he needed to jump. He needed to take action. Don't wait to take action. Just take action. Despite the comfortability or despite the warmth and despite, you being comfortable or whatever, that's the moral of the story is that he needed to take action. Well, I would debate it was time to take action. Meaning of the sense that there was a time where the frog knew he needed to take action, but he didn't jump. So first is time, then action. You need to have a time to say, okay, this is enough, or this is the time that I said where this is where I'm going to take action, and then take it and follow through, instead of, you know, making times for certain things and saying, oh, I'm going to do this, or I'm going to do this, and then action, and then just, you know, time rolls by. Well, your time's being taken, you know, by the comfortability. So I made the time to set this video. I said, I'm doing this today, Monday, after my workout, so there's no excuses. I've already I woke up at the time I was supposed to wake up. I did the things I was supposed to do in the morning. I worked hard. Then I did my workout, and now I'm going to post this video. And this will be another win for my day. And I'll work even hard later to make for a complete days of work, a fulfilling day of work. So, guys, in this story, and in the moral of this story, and the thing I want to end this off on is that create a time and then an action. And it doesn't matter what's going on, doesn't matter how comfortable it is, doesn't matter how warm it is, cold it is, you know, if you're tired, this, that, just time and action. And just do it. Just get it done. No matter what's going on, just get it done. Now, another couple of notes that I have on time is be very mindful and be very vigilant on where you spend your time, how you spend your time, and what you do with your time. Those are things that you should always be asking yourself. You know, am I being vigilant about my time? Am I essentially being really useful with my time? Like is this drawing me closer to my dreams and my goals and success, or closer to my family and the things that matter? Because if it's not, then what does it all matter for? I think you need to sit down and ask yourself, is this really worth my time? And we should all, because, you know, like I said in the very beginning, once you waste your time's gone. You know, now there's a way to buy back your time for the future, so that, you know, you don't have to waste your time on the things that don't matter. But you should always be on top of your time and kind of hold it close to your heart, and it matters, you know. And is the thing that I'm focusing on, or is the thing that I'm doing, going to give me more time for my future? Or is it going to give me more time for, you know, things that matter to me, things that are important to me? And if it's not, then I think you need to assess, you know, well, where is this time going? What is it doing? And don't beat yourself up with it. Don't say, oh, I wasted my time or whatever. Just record it down. And so the next time that, you know, you think that, oh, this is going to be a waste of time, remember, oh, this is the way that it made me feel. This is what it did for me. And chances are you're probably going to look back on it and say, yeah, no, this wasn't a good use of time. And, you know, it didn't make me feel that good. Trust me, I know, because I didn't really pay much attention to it. I didn't really care much about it. I just said, oh, you know, the daily, you know, to go through everything and to just go through the motions. This is what my time's for. And I'm just going to go do it, and then I'm going to go to bed. And then there's a lot of space and a lot of time where, you know, just didn't make me feel good, and I just didn't feel like I fulfilled much. So there's that. But anyways, you know, a note that I kind of captured, you know, for the whole entire episode is time is so important, because everything else in the world, you know, when it comes to money, it could be earned again. When it comes to skills, assets, your body, your mind, all these things can be gained or bought back again. But you could buy it to to learn or to leverage it and let whatever reality you create now work for you. And if you can leverage your time so that it works for you, or you let your dreams and goals and your ambitions work for you, you're no longer working the life. The life is now working with you. One final note, and something that I wrote in here and something that I want to throw into the video is how you respect yourself and your time ultimately controls your outcomes in life, or the overall outcome in life. Now, say you're unhappy with where you are in life, or say that you're kind of just going through the motions and you're living for, you know, the next thrill, or the next, you know, outing, or the next time you see your friends and stuff like that, and you're just picking up the phone and you're doing all these things for other people, but yet those other people aren't doing things for you. You need to sit back and ask yourself, well, hey, this probably isn't a good friend to make, or hey, this isn't a very fair relationship, or hey, you know, maybe let's say no. Let's maybe focus on me, and let's maybe focus on my dreams and my goals, and let's maybe take a step back and see where things go. And chances are, what you're probably going to realize is one of the two things. Is one, that it probably wasn't a good use of time, or it probably wasn't an idea to go, because you're just wearing out yourself. And a lot of people think, oh, like, I just got to go there and I got to go hang out with this person, or, you know, oh, I just got to go give a helping hand, or I'll be there for a couple minutes, but you're still giving yourself and your energy. And when you do that, I think people don't really realize, but you're still giving, part of yourself was given in that transaction. And if nothing was given back to you, you know, like not even like a thank you, or, you know, like, here, let me buy you a beer, or here, let me get you some food, or here, let me do this, or here, let me do that. You didn't have any good conversation, or you know what I'm saying? You didn't get anything, you didn't learn anything, you didn't, you know, maybe you were a little heavy lifting, you didn't share any laughs. Well, then, I mean, what was it for? For nothing. Now, I'm not saying that, oh, if you're a good buddy of yours, it's like, oh man, like, I'm off the side of the road, and you're like, oh man, I'm working really hard right now, I'm making money, I got it. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is if it repeatedly keeps happening, and they're calling you and they're interrupting, you know, your stuff and your success and your dreams and your goals, and you're never, you know, those friends are not showing up for you, and people aren't doing things for you, then you're just giving yourself up. You're giving your time, you're giving your energy, and you're giving yourself all over. You're not really respecting yourself and your dreams and your goals. And I'm telling you this right now, if you don't make the time for yourself, if you don't pull yourself away, if you don't silence yourself, if you don't go do the hard work, mile runs, whatever it is, and struggle and do those hustle by yourself, ultimately, if you don't respect that and you don't respect yourself, well, how is anybody else going to respect you? How are your friends and your family supposed to respect you? And how are your, you know, how is the world going to respect you? People see that, you know, they look on your face, they see what type of person you are, by the way you walk, the way you talk, the way you know, sometimes people walk inside, you know, stores and stuff, and, you know, you're not even showered, you don't look clean, you know, whatever. Like, say you came off of work, okay, whatever, like, we get that. But if you're just walking out willy-nilly, you know, and you're not showering, and you're not, like, you know, putting on deodorant and cologne and making a good appearance for yourself, people see that. And, you know, I guess don't judge a book by its cover, and, you know, don't, you know, look at somebody and say, oh, well, he's a bum, or he's this, or he's that. That's not what I'm saying. But I feel like ultimately, you know, you don't got to comb your hair to go to the grocery store or whatever. But I'm saying you should always smell nice. You should always, you know, make sure you look your best, because you never know what opportunity, or you never know, you know, what's going to come outside that door. You know, there's so many, you know, celebrities, movie stars, comedians, such and such, that go out and they just get a role because they look good, or they get this opportunity because they look good. or they did something in public and somebody picked up on it and said, you know what, this is our guy, this is who we need. So ultimately, respect yourself and respect your time and your dreams and your goals and your ambitions. And sometimes you got to put them first. Sometimes you got to tell, that friend or, somebody or even that girl, like, hey, look, would love to do this. How about we do this later tonight? Or sometimes you might have to say, we might have to revisit this in a couple of days or in a week. Your dreams, your goals, your ambitions, and, your money and everything, all that stuff comes first. Everything else, that could come later. I think that's it for the video. Please drop a like, subscribe, share with your friends and family, and I'll be back with another episode very soon. Love you guys. Peace.